to the stream. Welcome, Nicole and Marcus, full calling. Thanks for popping in, Marcus. Hopefully, if you're still here, you have a great night when you sign off and probably go to sleep, given the time that it probably is for you. Let's see here. Let's get this music pumping a little bit. And let's get my overview going. And I guess I should officially sign into chat so I can see it in a convenient place. Get Twitch chat up. Okay. Alright, we got YouTube chat, we got Twitch chat. You can see everything. Nicole is still awake? Well, I'm glad you are. How's it going? Yes, Discord announcements are working, letting people know that the stream is live. Where did we end off last time? We're doing something with Pidgeotto. I think Pidgeotto was out of moves, though. Maybe it was just about... Yeah, we got 16 moves left on Pidgeotto. We leveled up. That's about all we had time for. I think we're at level 34. Get this option here. Alright, I think we're good. Wiss over on Twitch chat. Doing well. How about yourself, Wiss? Haven't seen you get notifications from you for going live recently. What's up? Got a busy night for me, myself. After the stream's done, whatever time it does end, I need to finish compiling tomorrow's video for the card opening, the pack a day. And I also need to do a video for Pokemon Go spoofing. That's going to be fun. Hopefully I can get that working and doable. They usually have a pretty decent payout for those type of videos, so love those. You've also played Pokemon Blue as a kid and now am an adult playing Pokemon Scarlet. Hey, I'm in the same boat. Pokemon Blue was my first Pokemon game. I'm excited to be able to do this challenge. I regret also starting this challenge because it's pretty daunting, but I think we're just a few episodes away from it really kicking off and picking up, because once we get to, you know, Cerulean City, we're gonna have level 10 Pokemon to grind on, and then on up to like level 17 for a little while. So while there are more Pokemon to evolve, there will be faster grinding at the very least. You went live today, Wiz. I don't know where I was. I guess I wasn't getting Twitch notifications. I had Pokemon Go up most of the day, just using my little Pokeball Plus to spin. Pokestops. Speaking of which, I should continue that. I should think. Pokemon Blue is so great. Yours was Pokemon Yellow, game when you were a teenager. Pokemon Yellow. Oh man. Pokemon Yellow is so good. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the Mew glitch, to my knowledge, but still pretty decent. I think they also fixed Missing No. Is that... I feel like they fixed Missing No in Pokemon Yellow. I could be mistaken on that one. Okay, apparently my Pokemon Go Pokemon storage is full, so I get to mess with that a little bit, I guess. Matter of fact, you also went live on Tuesday. Tuesday I did see. I was just busy Tuesday. I'll give you that one. Today I just didn't see it. Tuesday I was actually in a work meeting when you went live. I believe. I do remember that one popping up. But like, I was in a company-wide meeting. Would have been a bad form to pull up my phone and start a live stream, you know? So I decided against doing that. Oh my gosh, why do I have so many stupid drowsy? Clapius, welcome. Bird versus Worm. We are single-handedly providing insect relief for the entirety of the Kanto region. We are the exterminators. Maybe I should have Brass Queen t-shirts made up. Brass Coin Bug Extermination. Kanto region. Serving all of Kanto. But hey, that work meeting caused me to get like 6 hours of overtime, which means I have 6 extra hours on my paycheck that aren't needed. And I can buy that many more Pokemon cards. And that's always a good thing. Sorry, I'm multitasking. While doing this, I am also deleting Pokemon from my Pokemon Go inventory so my Pokeball Plus can continue to catch more of them. So I can grind experience. Because I am so close, guys. I'm like 1.8 million shy of level 40. Where I can get my shiny Mew on this game, and I am so stoked for that. Also trying to complete a Pokedex inside Pokemon Home so I can transfer it to my... Sorry, complete Pokemon Go Pokedex so I can transfer it to my Pokemon Home account for the eventuality of when they do give us compatibility there. And the Pokemon, you know, I suspect for that large of an undertaking they're gonna give us like an Arceus shiny to get into our games. You guys know what I'm talking about, like how they've been giving us like Meloetta for completing Scarlet and Violet decks, and Keldeo for completing Sword and Shield decks and things like that. I want to complete the Pokemon Go Pokedex ahead of that, but there are a number of Pokemon I do require to do that. Bird eat worm? It does indeed. Does indeed eat worm. And a bird is the word, too, in case you didn't know. And if you did know, then congratulations on having that stuck in your head for the next 6 days. How's Mewtwo shiny hunting going, Wiss? That's something I loosely remember you were doing. And is a huge undertaking inside Pokemon Let's Go. Absolutely horrible. How many encounters are you at? I think the most brutal part about that game is that you have to defeat Mewtwo in order to even be able to face Mewtwo to begin with. Well, at this point, you don't know. You just started this hunt like 3 or 2 years ago. Oh, so like it's a continuation of a hunt that you were doing and that you just said, to heck with it, I'm gonna go stream this because why not? Kind of give yourself a little bit of push to do it. Nice. Okay, so how many encounters have you done while on live stream? That's a better question, maybe. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite songs that Glitch City has done. This is such a good bop. Alright, I am momentarily getting summoned. I will be right back, y'all. Alright, we back. And like, yeah, I knew I was out of PowerPoints there and still went for it. Mankey, what's your stats? Mankey's out of moves as well. So, we are going to focus. We don't need that Charmeleon anymore. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 to evolve. And we are going to focus on Pidgey and Mankey, because by golly, we're going to get an evolution today, somehow, some way. Evolution is the goal. Yeah, Charizard and Ivysaur, they're going to suck to get, but Pidgeot and Primeape are pretty close, I think. Primeape's like level 28, and Pidgeotto's just 1.5 more levels. if we are extremely lucky, this is the last time we need to send Pidgeotto, or Pidgeotto, to the Pokemon Center. But I don't think we'll get that lucky. I think we'll have to send it there one more time. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait until I am able to evolve my Larvesta in Pokemon Go. I got so many Pokemon I need to make my buddy and level up by adventuring. Whis says, by the way... Oh, my item bag's full, evidently. Do I have 200 coins? No. Did you saw that if you pre-order Legends ZA, it includes a plushie? I didn't even know we could pre-order Legends ZA as of yet, to be perfectly honest there, Whis. But for the lols, technically I do have that that Gardevoir plushie pre-ordered. You know what I'm talking about, Whis? Oh, you can't still... Yeah, then yes, I did know about that. Yeah, I did know that one was going to include a plushie of some kind. I think they randomly select one of the starters, if I remember right. But yeah, that life-size Gardevoir plushie, I pre-ordered one for the heck of it. Now, when it gets closer to it coming out, I may cancel said pre-order, but I have one on the dockets. I'm just not sure I want to pay for that. But I do want to see kind of what the pre-orders for that do and how high of a high-ticket item that is. Because I feel like for that one, once it's sold out, like, no more will be made. Like, you aren't getting one. So I definitely grabbed one while I could. It is indeed a great idea. I do have those from time to time. It's rare, but it happens. For example, this card binder I've been doing. Good idea. Terrible financial decision. But hey, all in all, that card video series is a great step on my way towards creating videos that people can come back to. Videos that people can watch that aren't on a time scale. They can see the progression of a card binder getting filled in, and I think that's pretty cool. In a year, it will still be applicable to a degree. And if I do end up buying it, it'll just be chilling like right there on all my streams, watching you guys. You're listening, by the way, you're just playing Terraria. Hey, like, no worries there. Terraria is a great game. I haven't played it much. Like, I think I played it for like an hour. I liked Minecraft better myself, but Terraria is still pretty awesome in that same Minecraft theme. Oh, and turns out I'm actually 1.9 million away from level 40 in Pokemon Go. Aaron Queen, when are we going to Vegas? My luck's drastically got to improve for me to go to Vegas. That and I need to be able to make some overnight trips before that happens, and my kids are nowhere near that ability. Maybe when they're in school in like 4 years, 5 years, I'll be able to get out and about since hey, level 35, that's what's up. Yeah, it's gonna take a minute. I don't like leaving my wife with the kids overnight by herself. At least until she starts being able to do that herself, leaving me home overnight with the kids while she goes out and has a girl night or something. But like, I don't know if you've been following, Aaron, my Pokemon card binder, opening a pack of cards every day for a year. Haven't been getting the most pulls, and my luck is not super great. So going to a casino in Vegas have a potential to lose a lot of money very quickly. And if my stock purchasing habits are anything to go by, I personally would not do well in a gambling environment. Hopefully that makes sense and articulates the concern. But I do take risks. For the most part, I'm pretty safe, but there's a certain like dopamine hit for the winning portion that easily overrides your thinking and processing ability to do the math for realizing that the odds just aren't going to be there for you. And Pokemon card packs are actually a lot the same way in that regard. The difference between gambling and Pokemon cards is you at least get something every time you buy a pack of Pokemon cards, so you're guaranteed something. But whether it's a good one or not the best. So like buying Pokemon cards recreationally, yeah, you're always going to get something, but buying them to make money, not the best. And luckily I've been buying Pokemon cards recreationally, so like if I was doing it for money, I would be in the hole so much. Like I think the cards that I've opened are worth like $200 to $300, somewhere in that ballpark, if I sold all of them, versus the amount of money I put them is like insane. I have not actually been to Vegas. The closest I've been to that is well, we have an Indian reservation in Blackfoot, in between Blackfoot and Pocatello. It's called Fort Hall. Been in there briefly, and then I've been to what's it called, Jackpot, Nevada, which is like just south of Twin Falls in Idaho, just barely across the Nevada border, but haven't been to Vegas proper. I would love to go for a UFC fight though. That would be something. Like that is a goal of mine. It's also a goal of mine to go to Salt Lake City for Comic-Con. I really want to go to a Comic-Con. Not as like a vendor or a personality or anything. I'm not that bold or thinking I'm that self-important or anything. But people have asked me if I would ever do that. I'm like, I am not near that level of awesome. So, you were just at UFC 313? That sounds fun. That sounds real fun. I would love to go watch a UFC fight. Alright, I will be right back once again. I'm going to go see if I can find my Pokeball Plus real fast. It should take like a minute, if that. You were sitting right where the fighters were coming out. The only two fighters that came out in different entrances were... I can't pronounce those names. Gaethy and Perea. Probably slaughtered those, but that's okay, I'm sure. I wish I could turn off the vibration on this Pokewell Plus. Oh yeah, I am totally casual. Not even gonna lie. I also like watching hockey and couldn't tell you the names of the hockey teams. Like, mostly because I've been watching college level hockey and only go to like the BYU and Boise State games and like the Aggie State games. Most of it's because I will not watch it on TV, except for the Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. That one I watched on TV, but like I don't like watching the things on TV. But like being in the area where these events are live, actually going to them would be huge. I would love that. Hey, Starkiller, welcome. I mean, I don't think you have to know the names to be intrigued in people beating the tar out of each other for sport. Like, I don't think the names matter so much. Like, somebody's gonna get their crap rocked. Like, somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose. That's all that matters. I mean, in Rome, people went to the gladiator fights. I really doubt they knew the names of the gladiators that were fighting. Nobody can pronounce hockey names, to be fair. Yeah, that is pretty fair. I know the name Conor McGregor. Does that count for anything? Floyd Mayweather. I feel like those are pretty old names now. I mean, McGregor was fighting like 4 years ago for sure. I think five, back when my wife and I were dating. But yeah, I haven't heard any new names in a long time that I recognize. And I couldn't even tell you if that was a UFC fight or not, being perfectly honest. Idaho Falls, a town that's like 30 miles away from me, recently got an event center where they get occasional UFC fights. I wasn't able to get tickets to the first one, but I'm hoping the next time they do one, I'll be able to jump in on that. Keep you updated. You'll come with me. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, that's the Vegas isn't too far away from California. It's a decent jaunt, but not too bad. Even in Idaho one, you'll fly out? Fair enough. Oh, no, Starkiller, I live in Idaho. Aaron lives in California somewhere. He was gonna say, what's that like? I would not survive in California, I can tell you that much. I think I've been to California one time. And I've been to Nevada a couple of times, but mostly just to jackpot. And I can't remember, this is going to be stupid brass coin moment, but I can't remember if Nevada is part of Four Corners or not. I'm inclined to say yes, but at the same time, I don't think so. Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. Yeah, it's not. Okay. I'm like, how to do a mental note. It's too far left. How to remember which states were Four Corners. I was like, well, if Colorado's one, then that rules out Nevada. That's not possible physically. But yeah, mostly to jackpot. You lived in San Francisco for a year when you were just out of high school. It got bad there. Yeah, I am work appropriate for the most part at all times, but there are jokes that would easily get me like fired in California that are tolerable here. I can't put up with the laws and the codes and stuff of California. Or at least the stigma of what they have going on, I suppose. I don't know the exact minutia of all of the things that they have going on there, but I live in an open carry state, if that says much of anything. You lived in Chinatown. That's probably the best thing about living there. But yeah, you couldn't put up with the way they live there. Yeah, you're very open carry. Yeah, exactly. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, I don't, like, pack all the time by any means, but, like, I can't imagine living in a state where I couldn't if I wanted to. Like, oh, we're gonna drive to the range to do some pew-pewing, and I have to make sure that my pew-pew device is in a case that locks with ammo, not in a clip. It is in a separate box than the clips that's also a separate box from the pew-pew device. And having that in the trunk of the vehicle you're transporting it in versus the cab of the vehicle. I feel like I'm not over exaggerating with the laws in California, but I may have embellished a little bit. But I feel like it's pretty accurate. If that's how we're going to say it. I mean, indicating that you're very open carry is could mean a lot more than just what we're talking about with obvious, I'm sure. You just put the UFC 313 on replay because you hadn't checked it. You can see me when the fighters are walking out. That's awesome. Now I'm going to have to go watch it to see if I can guess which one you are. They're rough and you lost most of your stuff at your mom's because of it. Yeah, the ability to transport that stuff across the state and obey laws, I've heard, is ridiculous. Meanwhile, I'm here in Idaho walking into Walmart with it strapped to my hip, loaded clip in the oh shoot. I'm drawing a blank. You know what I mean. Clip full of freedom seeds installed in the Pew Pew device. Walking into Walmart. It's just strapped to the hip, whatever. I mean, Walmart doesn't like it. Let's get that straight. Like, Walmart officially did a statement saying for their entire company, and this is the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, I worked at Walmart one day. They did this policy, right? So they have asked all customers and patrons to kindly leave said devices in their vehicles and not bring them into the store, or else they will be asked to leave. Yet they forbade any of their employees from talking to said individuals about such a thing, with the exception of salaried members of management. And the funny thing is, I don't think any member of management in the state is going to go and talk to an individual for carrying such a device. It's kind of a stupid thing to go talk to somebody about. Like, if you're worried that they're going to be off the handle and off the edge with said device, going and telling them that they can't bring it into the facility is probably not going to be doing much favors, is it? Also, how the heck did I get... Oh, Pikachu. That's how I got paralyzed. It is... They sell single Pew Pews because that's the most common code safe ones to get. Oh my gosh. I would like a single freedom seed, please. How many single freedom seeds can I buy in one transaction? Welcome to channel Brasscoin, when we talk about everything under the sun. Nothing is off limits, basically. In the most YouTube-friendly way, of course. I mean, given the fact, this should say everything right here. Like, I'm from Idaho, and you know, that kind of gives some stuff away, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I tilt one way or the other. But my ability to survive in California is greatly hindered by the fact that I absolutely loved living in West Texas. And that says a whole lot. You really wish the Switch had all of the Pokemon games? I do as well. And I really don't think that there's any reason why we shouldn't have all of the Game Boy games available in Nintendo Switch Online for the Game Boy Advanced. Aside from the fact that they know they can easily sell those games to consumers time after time after time, and I am extremely hopeful that while the Switch 2 is backwards compatible with the Switch, we can utilize that for all of the Switch games we currently have, and then expand. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to pull over the Nintendo Switch Online aspect to the Switch 2, and have all of those games be available there through Nintendo Switch Online on the Switch 2, which would also give us the ability to facilitate the DS portion, allegedly, because it's going to have the same USB or USB-C that could hook an extra screen up to it easily to be able to do a dual screen or use the TV as a dual screen and play the games that way. Have a mic on it would be amazing so that you could, play Spirit Tracks and use the mic for blowing out the candles or the torches and whatnot. Yeah, you're from St. Louis. You just have to have them. You don't even have online on Switch right now because the online service is just pathetic. It really is. And, they need to bring a chat service back to it. If Nintendo could merge with Microsoft in some capacity, but keep Nintendo as, the controlling interest, but have Microsoft-level services, I think Nintendo would be ahead of the curve. Doing amazing. I love the Xbox friend system, chat system, voice chat system. Excluding that from a Nintendo product and making people get a smartphone was just horrible on their part. So I'm hoping the Switch 2 improves the online system greatly. I would love a Nintendo platform with an achievement system like Xbox has achievements. Sony has a trophy system. I personally hate the trophy system, and that's why I like Xbox more. It is so much more satisfying to me to get an achievement in a game than a trophy for doing the same exact thing. And I don't know why. Just the word achievement sounds so much cooler. You achieve something outside of the norm. Whereas PlayStation's oh, here's a trophy. It's okay, cool, I just got a participation trophy. I would go out of my way to complete a game 100% on Xbox to get the achievements. Same game, I would not get the trophies for on PlayStation. Just doesn't have the same dopamine hit. But if Nintendo could get something similar to that, I would be all for it. This is the first year you haven't spent anything on Switch. No games, no online. It's just bad. They're releasing a new system. But they left the whole community in limbo. They really did. And to that point, wanted to chat with the live stream about this because it's something I'm still kind of workshopping and on the fence about. But I have 13-ish bots behind me, as you guys may very well know. I am thinking very seriously about dropping 7 of those bots, selling them off on eBay, using the revenue to buy Pokemon cards and or the Nintendo Switch 2 so that we can have that on launch day. But I'm thinking about starting to sell off some of the bots and downsize the bots' presence on the channel already. Just doing giveaway videos hasn't been it for me recently. I haven't enjoyed doing them for a long time. And the views on the ones I've been doing are pretty horrendous. And I don't want to just keep doing legendary after legendary after mythical to try and get the views. Because there's a certain point where it's well, it's not even fun anymore. It's not worth it to me. Yeah, and I know there's going to be kind of a resurgence when the new game comes out, Legends ZA, but that's going to be pretty similar to PLA. The bots weren't really necessary for the most part. And, that's the only thing that's keeping me from actually doing it. But I'm glad you're kind of on board with dropping it. I anticipate dropping bot services on the channel for this iteration of games. I anticipate that cutting my channel in half. And while that sounds terrible, over the last year, the channel hasn't really grown. And I'm officially in a point where, as of March of last year, I have lost subscribers since that date. So I gained some, but I've lost more than I've gained. And I'm okay with that. And I think if I discontinue the large part of the bots on the channel here, and I lose those subscribers, I think that's going to be good for the channel because they're obviously not showing up for the other videos that are non-giveaway. So what that's telling YouTube when I do live streams like this is that your own viewers aren't even tuning into the notifications they're getting before you're going live. So really it is a hindrance to the channel to have 20,000 subscribers with only 200 watching the videos every day, or whenever they come out. So I think it's really going to be a good thing to prune the channel for the channel's future. Yeah, the Pokemon card opening vids and gameplay is probably the only thing worth putting energy into. And you would just get ready for Switch 2 instead of working on the current system. You got it. Absolutely. With my extremely limited time these days due to raising 2 kiddos at the moment, I gotta pick and choose what I can do. And like, I'm at a point where I would rather play the games, and it's so much easier to edit a live stream into a video or do a card pack opening because I want to open some cards. And it's, makes it cheaper in the long run to open the cards on the channel if people are going to watch those videos, because 50 cents here or there isn't much, but when I want to open up 100 packs of cards and I can do 100 videos, or a few videos for it, and those videos get $5 in ad revenue over the course of a year, that video has paid for the pack of cards at that point. So it kind of helps create some sustainability with the ability to open packs of cards every day. Especially when I do things like the goal today, do XYZ for a super chat, and I'll open up a pack of cards, that's $3 that just got cut off the top of the price of the card pack or whatever it ends up being. So that's pretty cool. So it's smarter in some ways, and I've been doing these bots for 4 years almost, and it's crazy. The kids need to get a job. What are they, almost 1 and 5 now? Baby Coin is almost 1. He turned 9 months this month, and Copper Coin is 2.5. So many Nintendo Switch Pokemon YouTubers have either quit or they just cycle the same things, so you wouldn't be too worried about it since it's not just you. Yeah, it really isn't just me. And like, I love doing Zelda content, but Nintendo's kind of screwed us on Zelda content for a long time. Like, not going to be perfectly honest, not having a Pokemon game come out this year, or at the very least, the Black and White remakes that we were hoping for, or something, has really affected my ability to care and focus on the bots. Like, I was so hopeful that there would be a new game to work with for a little while, and something to do content for that was more engaging. And that's why I started these retro challenges and things like that, because it's something that I want to do, and I'd rather spend time on stream doing it than just doing it in my personal time. So, you would watch a Tears of the Kingdom playthrough. I couldn't play through a Tears of the Kingdom again. Like, Breath of the Wild was the superior game. Tears of the Kingdom should have been DLC. Like, I'm in that camp. I love Tears of the Kingdom, don't get me wrong. I did not hate that game at all. I just did not love it as much as it could be loved if it had come out before Breath of the Wild. 2.5 is basically 5. Yeah, toddler math. Feels like 5. What is the saying? The days are long, but the years are short. So true, though. We are now officially not friends. Okay. Evidently, you've played Tears of the Kingdom and you've played Breath of the Wild, right? My problem with Tears of the Kingdom is that it should have, like, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild should be one game. I can understand why you liked Tears way more. I do get the sentiment. I understand that, and I can respect that. I come at the games from a lore perspective. Like, gameplay is great. I like the interconnectivity of the lore, how it plays into the rest of the series. I love, absolutely love, and you're right, the mechanics of the caves. I thought Breath of the Wild was stupid at first. I hated the idea that we weren't in dungeons. I did not like the divine beasts being the dungeons of the game. The shrines being the dungeons of the games. I hated that aspect of Breath of the Wild. I loved that caves came back and you kind of had mini dungeons all over the place. It was very reminiscent of, you're walking through Hyrule Field and you fall down one of those holes hidden in the grass, and you have a mini boss down there that gives you a cool freaking item. I loved that. And I loved the return to temples, open world temples. Like, I think that was masterfully created. I would have liked a little bit more as terms of puzzles, like maybe more enclosed rooms that you couldn't just drop into. But I think it was a improvement to Breath of the Wild, and so I can understand how people could like Tears of the Kingdom more than Breath of the Wild, having played Breath of the Wild first. My issue happens from a lore perspective. It didn't add much to the lore. In fact, it made it even more confusing. And it actually breaks everything. Having Breath of the Wild come out, there was so many theories we could play with. How does it connect to Ocarina of Time? Where does it fit in the timeline? Which isn't super important, but it's something to consider. Which Ganon is the Ganon we're fighting? Is it a new one? Is it a previous one that we've seen before? How does this all tie in together? And then they announced Tears of the Kingdom and showed Ganon. And we're like, yes, this is so cool. It could easily be Twilight Princess Ganon. And what they did is, from the fans that follow for the lore perspective, for the nods to the previous games, Tears of the Kingdom takes a great big dookie on all of that, all of the history, everything, because there is no feasible way that it can be tied into any of the current existing games outside of it's a entirely separate branch of an unknown timeline, it's in an alternate universe, and this is a official reboot. Because what it did was said, hey, there's these Zonai creatures, they descended from somewhere, and they joined with Queen Sonia of Hyrule and established Hyrule, which infers that Hyrule was previously unestablished, which goes against Skyward Sword having created Hyrule in a sense. Skyward Sword being the creation of Hyrule and the creation of the Master Sword. Rauru had never heard of the Hero of Time or the Hero of Legend or anything, or the Master Sword. So, like, that hadn't happened yet. It was new to him as the founder of Hyrule, and I didn't like how it just completely threw all of the time and stuff that we've invested into the series out and said, okay, we're basically starting over from scratch, without giving us the decency of saying, okay, Breath of the Wild goes at the end of all timelines is what they officially said. Then Tears of the Kingdom takes place both after and before it simultaneously because of the, past and present, future parts of it. And they don't have the decency to say, hey, I know we told you guys that it takes place at the end of all timelines, but actually it takes place in a alternate universe. This is an alternate way that Hyrule was founded. The only other explanation is that Hyrule was destroyed almost in its entirety to the point of it not being a nation anymore, and then the Zonai come in and help rebuild it and establish Hyrule again. So there are bits and pieces of all of the Zelda games scattered throughout Tears of the Kingdom, like, I will give it that. But there's just so much that bothers me about it. Now, if there was, they won't be doing another game in that universe. They said in that engine, in that series immediately. So they said the story is done for that version of Hyrule. So I don't see them having a way to tie it in together neatly. What I was hoping would happen was the only lore that you know is because of Breath of the Wild. Is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom the only games you've played, or what's going on there? Because for me, Tears of the Kingdom has sages, essentially. The stones, the dragon stones, that gives the sages sage power. Now, those races that get those stones and become sages and all that were sages in previous games, like Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker. Those are the two chief among them. They had power because they were sages. And that's cool. So, like, they would help Princess Zelda out using their unique power to amplify and, create things to thwart Ganon and all that. And the sages had jobs that they would do, monitor the temples, watch over the sacred realm, things like that. Fast forward, these races have power innately. Like Mipha, without the stone, could heal people with water. Sidon could do things with water because he was Sidon. Yunobo had the ability to create a shield because he was Yunobo, which they present it as a lineage type of a thing. Like, not every Zora or Goron had that ability. It was special to a line of Zoras, which, like, oh my gosh, these guys are descendants of the ancient sages from Ocarina of Time. That makes sense. And then we have the stones that could have either amplified their power, and that's essentially what they do, is they take the affinity of the person and make their power stronger. Or I was wondering if these stones might be the crystallized essence of that sage power. How the sages got their power to begin with is what I was hoping. Like, hey, this might be way before the creation of Hyrule. And these stones are how the sages got their power from, like, the goddess Hylia or whatever. Or even better, what I was really wanting to have happened is, Ganon started going after the lineage of the sages, so to mess with him and make it so that he couldn't just target a specific line of individuals to, go and take them out so they can't use their sage power against him, they distilled that sage power into these stones so it's transferable. Just hand somebody else a stone. Congratulations, they're a sage now. That'd be cool. Welcome, Boberson. But yeah, it had so many options for it lore-wise, and then it's just like, no, we don't care about what's happened in the past. We're not even going to try to tie this in and tie up any loose ends. It just is what it is. Like, we are still left wondering if the depths of Hyrule is a destroyed version of Hyrule, and that over time people just built over top of it, which is, the prevailing theory. Or if it really was the land of Hyrule and people just dug underground, just to harvest things that were down there because it worked. Like, I personally think that it was a calamity level event that buried everything, and just the survivors went to the surface, or were able to survive to get to the surface. And then years later they started mining down there to collect relics and things that had been preserved, and magic that had crystallized into what the Zonite ore was. You played Ocarina of Time as a kid and tried to play it again recently, but it's so hard to play older games when you're used to newer games mechanics. I can always go back and pick up Ocarina of Time in Majora's Mask. There will never be a day where I'm like, I wish this had the mechanics of the newer games. They play so well. So well. More to the point, getting a 3DS copy of Ocarina of Time does improve things, but Breath of the Wild is a completely different beast. Like, yeah, if you're wanting it to play like Breath of the Wild, not possible. The underground thing was so cool and you almost forgot about it. Yeah. And like, returning to the sky was such a crucial thing for us as theorists on the Zelda, because I have a Zelda channel, and this channel actually originally started out as a kind of Pokemon Zelda hybrid. Knowing that Tears of the Kingdom was sending us to the sky again, I was so hopeful for some kind of homage to Skyward Sword. Like, this is the central island. This is Skyloft, because the only part of Skyloft that descended at the end of Skyward Sword was the goddess statue. I was hoping for somewhere above the Temple of Time area to have been more references to Skyloft, because the area where the Temple of Time is built in the sky is over the current day Temple of Time, which theoretically should be where the original Temple of Time was. And I was expecting Skyloft to be there in some capacity, and it wasn't. You were going to get Skyward Sword, just never did, and can't justify spending $50 on an old game like that. If you were a lore enthusiast for the series, it would be well worth the money. Skyward Sword is my third favorite game in the Zelda series. It bounces around. It's in my top 3, I'll say that. Skyward Sword is easily my top 3 games for The Legend of Zelda. Majora's Mask, very high up there. Majora's Mask is in my top 3. And I do dare say Breath of the Wild is in my top 5 for sure. But I love the Minish Cap so much. Like, it's Majora's Mask, Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, easily in my top 5, if not my top 3. And then Breath of the Wild's up there. I would also say Wind Waker and Tears of the Kingdom probably tie for top 5 in the 5th position, because they all have so much lore behind them. Twilight Princess is another favorite one, very lore heavy. I enjoy the games with the lore. One thing that I did enjoy about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdoms is that there is a lot of references to the original Zelda game in Zelda 2. I appreciated that so much. For example, all of the powers that the sages have, all of the powers that you get in Breath of the Wild, Mipha's Grace to heal yourself, Daruk's Protection for shielding, Rivali's Gale for lift up into the air, you could say jumping, if you will. All of those are homages to Zelda 2, where we get to use spells, and the spells we learn are shield, protection, extra durability. Healing, we can temporarily heal ourselves with a spell. Urbosa's Fury is we get the lightning spell, and jumping is a spell, which is very similar to Rivali's Gale. So 4 of our spells from Zelda 2 have a direct correlation in a Sage ability. That was really cool for me. And specifically the area in between the Great Plateau in the desert, the Hebra Highlands, over by the Typhlo ruins and all that, has very strong connections to Zelda 2. You love those spells or abilities? Yes. You love open world games, so it's hard to play closed level games. They have to be really good. I agree. I get that sentiment. Also, welcome Rival Lobster. Sorry I haven't been paying attention to Twitch. I don't know when those messages came through, but it looks like it's very recently, so I haven't missed too much, it seems. And that's a good thing. Oh my gosh, why did all my programs disappear? That sucked. Starkiller said we couldn't be friends because I didn't like Tears of the Kingdom as much as Breath of the Wild, so got me on a very long Zelda rant in the middle of a Pokemon stream, which is completely okay, because once again, we talk about everything under the sun here. Like, I'm over here with the Zelda theories that Skyward Sword, Zelda, and Link are the only two incarnations of Zelda and Link, or the hero, that get together and have a kid. Like, I really do think Link was the first king of Hyrule. Him and Zelda had a special connection prior to the events of the game that continued after the game, and Zelda really had the hots for Link, and I don't think him being the hero of time hurt his standing any. Because he kind of goes on this whole adventure because he's saving her, not because she's the goddess incarnate. He kind of likes her and is like, nope, I'm gonna go save my friend. Let's get this done. Skyward Sword's also the origin story for the Master Sword, which is pretty huge. I enjoy that. Wind Waker is the Hero of Time's story continued in a sense, as is Twilight Princess. So those games, you can't have Wind Waker or Twilight Princess without Ocarina of Time. And I love how Majora's Mask is the same Link from Ocarina of Time, just going onto another adventure. I think that's really cool. And Majora's Mask is just really awesome with collecting all of the masks and figuring out exactly what each one of those is doing. The lore behind each mask, and Majora's Mask is very masterfully created. So, I don't know how much you know about Majora's Mask, Starkiller, but the premise is you go into this land of Termina looking for your lost fairy from Ocarina of Time, and you fall down like a psychedelic rabbit hole, and you're in Termina. This land of Termina has this moon slowly descending, and you get there and a 3-day timer starts. Typically, there would be a 3-day timer, just the moon's going to fall in 3 days. But the Goddess of Time is watching over you and intervenes, and through the power of the Ocarina of Time, you're able to rewind that back 3 days. Now, we have a running log of everything that happens in that 3-day time period, because we're keeping a notebook of what it is, and we're outside that realm, watching as the player, so we remember everything. But the people of the world do not. The entirety of the world resets to day 1 every single time you play the Song of Time to reset the time. And the idea is you keep the items that you collect throughout your journey, the key items anyways, that help you progress through the game. So you're creating like several different timelines, or you could say it's a what does Iron Man make? A infinity loop with time. I forget what they call it, but where the timeline folds in on itself and creates one big circle every time you reset it. Anyways, that's kind of irrelevant, but you proceed in the game, you beat the first temple, you reset time back to day 1, you proceed through the game, you beat the second temple, all so on and so forth. The point is, every character inside Majora's Mask is unique. They have a story, they have a life, they have an itinerary of where they're going to be every moment, every day for that entire 3-day time period. Most of them, at least the important ones that we interact with, move. Like, things that you do in the game will impact where they are in that game. For example, one of the quest lines is to reunite two lovers, Anju and Cafe, or yeah, Cafe. Anyways, if you don't talk to a certain person on day 1, an event doesn't happen on day 2, causing Anju to leave the town on day 3 before the moon crashes, but Cafe stays and dies, type stuff. But if you have a conversation, you can start a quest line that will reunite those two, and you know, they get together, and if you stop the moon, they both live. If you don't stop the moon, they would, you know, technically die, all that. But each one of those masks that you get in the game, there's sort of 24 of them, is tied to a quest line that has different things affecting things like that. And it is so cool. The universe, the world building is so cool. And when I play games like Scarlet and Violet, we'll tie this back to Pokemon in a nice bow, I guess. You think about playing Pokemon Black and White, or even Ruby and Sapphire, or Red and Blue. If you don't check out everything in those 3 Pokemon games, you will miss a critical HM and not be able to progress. Like, Cut. HM Cut. I don't think that one's hypercritical. Yeah, that one's not hypercritical, but you had to go in Rustboro City and talk to a gentleman whose house was like cleared, so whatever. He gives you HM Cut, but you had to go into the building and find him. He wasn't just overtly like, hey, you need this to progress, here you go. And then you get to Verdant Turf or Rustboro. Okay. Well, you need to get strength from the karate guy, but you have to break the rock smash boulder in the Verdant Turf tunnel in order for him to give that to you. If you never go in that tunnel, you don't get that HM. And then you need strength to, you know, progress later on in the game. Things like that. World building. Yeah, in Ruby and Sapphire, I don't think you technically need Cut to progress. You need Cut to get Slakoth in the forest, because he's only spawning in those sections of grass over on the right side, and you need Cut to get there. You don't need Flash. You definitely need Surf, because oh my gosh, water. You need Dive and Waterfall. You need Strength and Rock Smash. But I don't technically think you need Cut. There's nothing that I can think of that Cut lets you into that you couldn't walk around. Cut is mainly for shortcuts. Haha, shortcuts. Yeah. You really wish you could replay Ruby and Sapphire? Nintendo needs to add them to the store. You would buy all the Pokemon games? Meanwhile, I'm actually playing through Ruby right now. This is in anticipation of the 3rd game in this series. I will be doing that through Sapphire. And I wanted to be able to trade the version exclusive, so that means I have to play through Emerald first, which means I'll be completing through the Pokedex there on a normal playthrough. And then for Sapphire, I'll either be doing a shiny only run or a Pokedex completion similar to this one. Oh, heavens no, Starkiller. You got that all wrong. Sapphire is the superior Gen 3 experience. Arguably, though, I played Sapphire wrong the entire time. Not friends again. I always chose Swampert, and I always played Sapphire, which was dumb because if I would have played Swampert with Pokemon Ruby, I would have had the competitive advantage because Team Magma uses fire types and I would have been a water type and all that. I like the color blue way more than red, so I'm biased that way. I personally don't really like Groudon or Kyogre that much. I'm all about Ray Ray. But I do prefer Kyogre to Groudon, even though I think competitively Groudon stomps Kyogre. The reason being is Groudon's Sunny Day can trump Kyogre's Rain, and then Solar Beam's just an insta-kill. Gen 1 best gen ever. Rival Lobster's a Gen 1er. You hate the color red but like Groudon, same with red version and with Charizard. Hey, I have to play blue, but I can respect the Charizard. And blue is just a matter of nostalgia for me. Arguably, though, red has the experience that I crave more because I like being able to get Mankey as early as possible. Like, I swear up and down that Mankey is obtainable in Pokemon Blue prior to leaving Viridian. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I should have just went to the Poké Center and healed, honestly. You would always get one copy and your sister would get the other, so we kind of got lucky with the version exclusives. Yeah. So my thing growing up was my parents would get me one version and my dad's parents would get me the other version. So they always kind of collaborated with my Christmas presents, so they would get me the console or you know, the Game Boy, and then they would get me like Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. This was like when I was in 3rd grade. They got me the Game Boy Advance SP, they got me Ruby and Sapphire, and then my grandparents came in clutch and got me Pokemon Emerald. So like I always had the set. Or back when I was in like 1st grade, they got me the Game Boy Color and Pokemon Gold and Silver, and my grandparents got me Crystal, or they got me Gold and my grandparents got me Silver, something to that effect. So like they always got me the set because my parents, they were cool. They understood that to complete the game you needed both copies. So with the very first iteration, Red and Blue, that was before my time. Well, I was actually born at the time, but you know, I was like 1. They got the games for my brother and sister. They got my sister Red and my brother Blue so that they could trade and play the games together. The only reason why we got the SP was because your house burned down and your church helped you get them. That's really nice. Well, aside from the fact that your house burned down, that part sucks, but it's nice that the community was able to reach out and help. Get something to do. Why didn't I go to the Pokemon Center, Rival Lobster? That is a great question. I didn't think paralysis would be that big of a deal, but then again, I forgot that this was Gen 1, and any game before Gen 4, if its odds are not 100%, it's 0, so I forgot that paralysis was going to be a huge thorn in my side. And at this point, I'm just committed. And we evolved Pidgeotto. We didn't need to go to the Pokemon Center. That's why I didn't go. Pokecenter's are for nerds. Awesome, we got a toy wooden Pidgeot. Seriously though, Pidgeot looks wooden. And now we have 3 Pokemon until we can fight Brock And it's a shame because there's going to be a lot of people who have been following this series that are going to miss Brock. Not that we're going to be able to do it today, but... Ivysaur and Charizard are going to take far too long to accomplish today. You were 6 when Pokemon came out? What does that put you at, like 35? Pokemon came out in like 95, 89. That puts you at 89, right? Born in 89? Roughly? That brings you as old as my brother. $35 next month, okay. Oh my gosh, are you my brother? If I could get super personal, Rival Lobster, what day is your birthday? I'm pretty sure you're my brother now. Born in 90? Okay, you're not my brother. I mean, you can be, still, but... You're not the one I'm thinking of. Okay. My brother was like the 12th, so I was like getting interested. Didn't realize you were that young when Pokemon came out. I had just turned a year old. Because I was born in 94, and it came out in 95, I believe. Well, in America, I think it was 96, if you know. '94 crew represent. For us, the Canadians in America, 96. So, in that sentence, me being American, Rival Lobster, are you Canadian? Yes, you're Canadian. Okay. In trying to keep politics out of the stream, but also wanting to ask a Canadian genuinely, what's the deal with the bourbon, like American bourbon and things like that, getting taken off the shelves? Like, is that a national dictated thing, or is that like a individual people saying, okay, we're not going to sell these products anymore? Like, does Canada have the authority to force citizens to take products off the shelf in that capacity. I would assume, since it's like similar to America, that product is state regulated, that they would have the power to say you can't sell that anymore. But I'm just genuinely curious, like, how that all is work. Like, I know why it's being done, but like, I'm more interested in the government level authority and power to enforce that kind of a thing, because that's fascinating to me. So I guess the basis of the question isn't really political at all. It's more of a governmental operations question. If it's not Canadian, the government want it off the shelves. That much I've gathered. Again, the question is just structured around, is it a government enforced thing? Like, are they making this happen? Because, like, the product has already been purchased. I imagine that would create a loss for Canadian business owners that they would have to absorb. And, you know, with the prices of those things, if they had a lot of that stock, could easily bankrupt the business. So they are forcing it off the shelves. Is there like a government buyback thing going on to help ease the burden of business owners, since it's a governmental enforced thing? You think so? Yes. Okay. Like, I can respect the decision. Like, I'm not like upset about it one way or the other or anything like that. I'm just like, yeah, I just genuinely wanted to know like how that works, because from a licensing perspective in America, like, they would be able to revoke the license to sell certain products, but I don't believe that they would do so for current product unless it was a health risk or violating some FDA standard of some kind. In America, it would be more of a, you sell through your stock and you just can't order anymore type of a restriction. It wouldn't be a, you have to yoink it off the shelves, we're buying it from you, we're trashing it, whatever, sending it back. It's a sell through your product and we just can't order anymore in this type of a situation, I would think. Starkiller, that was the essence of my question. Like, selling what they got, because like the TikTok videos and the Facebook posts and the Twitch articles all say that they were forced, or you know, they took it off the shelves and just aren't selling it. And I was just wondering how the cost got absorbed there and all that. So some people are saying, hey, they did it just for the videos. You know, they're taking it off the shelf to show that they're not supporting it anymore, but maybe after the video they put it back on the shelf and sold through the stock. That's something that we don't get to see here in the US. But since there was a Canadian here, I just wanted to ask and see what they knew and kind of get that whole story from the other side type of a thing. Because it's something I'm fascinated by the economics of everything. But I don't like learning about that stuff in articles, because those articles are often swayed one side or the other. Like, I know this decision is going to have effects on the economy, and I think it was Kansas that they were worried about because a major company employs a lot of people in Kansas. At least I feel like it's Kansas. And Canada's like 20% of their purchasing power. All you care about is that it's really stupid on what's happening. I can agree with that. It's an interesting war on goods and services. And it's going to have far-reaching impacts on a large number of people. Like I was saying, Canada buys a significant portion of this company in Kansas's bourbon stock. And so if the fear is that they're not going to be able to sell it elsewhere. Some say that, it'll just get sold internally at better prices type stuff. Other people are concerned about, okay, like, without these domestic or foreign countries buying this product, are these people going to be able to stay in business? We are, in fact, living in a future textbook history. This is going to be huge. Because this is either going to cause a huge economic boom in a large number of places due to buying internally and, getting countries more self-sufficient in a large perspective, or it's going to be extremely detrimental to everybody. It's either going to be really good or really bad. I don't think there's going to be a middle ground. Also, I forgot how much of a pain this Mankey is going to be to evolve, because it's going to start disobeying me. Because I don't have Brock and Misty's gym badge. Oh my gosh. So, like, we read about the Spanish flu in health class and, history and all that stuff, of how big of a catastrophic event that was. I do want to know in, like, 80 years what the history books are going to say about 2020 with COVID and having a worldwide pandemic, because, like, that was, like, the first real worldwide pandemic in a long time. And like, we had a pandemic, we had the great rise of content creators. No, Mauricio. I mean, grand plan, yes. Shiny living decks. But Gen 1 games, such as Blue that I'm playing, can't have shiny Pokemon. So there's no way I would tell. What I'm doing is trying to create a living dex in this game. But this challenge says I can't progress past the gym leader, the next gym leader in line, until I've defeated, or I've got a Pokemon form for every single Pokemon in the Pokedex that can be obtained prior to that gym leader. So Brock has 32-ish Pokemon that you can get before you have to beat him to progress further in the game. Misty has so much more, because you don't have to beat Misty Well, you have to beat Misty to progress eventually, but you need Misty to get cut. Lieutenant Surge, for example, you don't have to beat Lieutenant Surge until like the very end. Lieutenant Surge doesn't do anything badge-wise except for make Pokemon listen to us better. So after beating Brock, you have like 40 more Pokemon you have to get before you can fight Misty. After Misty, you have like 100 more Pokemon that you have to get before you can fight, I believe it's Koga, to be able to use Surf. And then you have all of the Pokemon that you have to be able to get before you can fight any other gym leader at all. So you see what Pokemons do you need right now to progress? So I have to evolve this Mankey into Primeape, and then I will have to evolve Charmeleon into Charizard and Ivysaur into Venusaur. Charizard needs like 6 more levels. Venusaur needs like 9 more levels, something like that. That's very possible, Starkiller. So yeah, Mauricio, the essence of the challenge is Professor Oak's challenge is the one that says you have to fill in the pages of the Pokedex as much as possible before each gym leader. The Living Dex challenge obviously would be at some point during the game somewhere get one Pokemon for every form in the Pokedex. So Mankey, Primeape, you have to have a Mankey and a Primeape in your box. And the reason why this is an epic one is this is combining those two challenges together. So not only do I have to catch a Mankey, I have to catch a Primeape and level it up before I can face Brock, plus all the others. And I have to get the trade evolutions as well, and I have to get the version exclusives as well. Luckily, I don't have to trade too many Pokemon over here to do the challenge, because I forgot that they weren't going to obey me. I am playing the Virtual Console version of Pokemon Blue on my modded 3DS. So I got a capture card installed in the back of my 3DS here. Here's the charge port, and then this extra port that's not normally there. So, playing on a legitimate copy of the game. I could, if I wanted to, hook it up through my Game Boy player on my GameCube and run it through an HDMI that way and play it. That would also work. If I had a mind to, I could play it on my physical cart using my GameCube Game Boy Advance player. Pokemon was so hard in the past. Right now, these games are easy in Pokemon. Yeah, too easy. Oh, I never finished my tangent. Oh my gosh, Starkiller. I was saying about we got too lost in the minutia of Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire, you don't need cut to progress. What I was saying in that vein is Scarlet and Violet has no world. There's nothing. No investigation, no buildings to explore, no random items to find inside of a building. It's hollow. It's huge and open and everything, but there's nothing in the world to find, and that bothers me so much. I think Scarlet and Violet did a lot of good, and it's a step in the right direction for open world. I love that. But when we have an open world, I'm looking for the Switch 2 to continue that open world, but fill it in. Give me people to talk to in houses that you normally don't have to go to, that do things for us. And it's hard to do that in an open world game because technically you don't need strength to progress. Like, how do you make people want to go and talk to these people when you can get everything from raid drops and things like that? I don't know, but I would like the region not to be empty. It's huge and open, but it needs to be filled in too. Is it really that closed in Ruby and Sapphire? You know, the newest games, the towns were empty, literally nothing. Yeah, what do you mean by closed? Like, for example, what I would think is, you don't need cut to progress in Ruby and Sapphire. You have to do the in-game storyline events, you know, save Mr. Briney's Pico, his little win goal, so that he can take you to Dewford. But I believe once you deliver the product to Stephen Stone in Dewford, you don't have to fight Brawley to progress. So you can go all the way up to Mauville and Verdanturf. But I think Brawley you need to fight so you can use Rock Smash. Rock Smash you get from, I believe, somebody by the casino. Don't quote me on that. I went through the game rather quickly, but I feel like Rock Smash is obtained in Mauville. And then if you don't fight Brawley, you can't use Rock Smash that you would need to be able to use to get to Fall Arbor and Lava Ridge to fight Flannery. And so if you don't fight Flannery, you can't get strength. And if you don't fight all 4 of the first gym leaders, you can't fight your dad Norman, which unlocks the ability for you to get Surf from Wally's dad, as well as he gives you the badge that lets you use Surf, so that you can go over to fight Winona. Winona gives you Fly, so you really don't need to defeat her at all. You could fight her last and everything would be hunky-dory. Liz and Tate you need to fight so you can use Dive, so that you can go do the Kyogre event. And then you have to beat Wallace or Juan, depending on the game, so you can go and use Waterfall to get into the Elite Four. Obviously, Flash and Cut are optional, but Strength, Rock Smash, Surf, Waterfall, and Dive are not. Yeah, and it's spelt differently. It's spelt like the actual fighting brawl, so Brawly, because he's a fighter, you know? Yeah, they were clever. So, funny story. I think every gym leader for the first 3 games, three games, have their element in their name to some loose capacity. Now, there may be some that aren't. And they're themed accordingly. The only one I can't figure out is Sabrina. I don't know how that one fits in. So, we'll start with Gen 3 because it's the most obvious. Roxy, Rock type. Brawly, Fighting type. Winston, I'm not really sure about Winston, but I'm sure there's a connection. Flannery, flame. Norman, normal. Winona, wind, flying. Liz and Tate, Lizitate, levitate. Wallace is kind of iffy because Wallace is, like, he does have some ice types. So Wallace. Juan doesn't really make a lot of sense for that, but Juan is full ice type. Steven Stone, he uses rock type. Stone. Phoebe, phobia, ghost type. Sydney, I don't really get the correlation between dark type, but there may be one due to terms I'm not familiar with. Sydney, Phoebe, Steven Stone. Who are the other two Elite Four members? Is it Phoebe? I don't know who the other two are. But Brock is rock, Misty is water. Mist, water. Lieutenant Surge, electricity. Erica, not sure on Erica. Koga, I know Koga has something to do with poison. But I'm not sure the exact wordplay correlation there. Blaze. I think Blaine's a term for getting burned. Maybe. Sabrina doesn't make a lot of sense. And Giovanni has Geo in his name, and he uses ground type. Geo, earth, you know. Bruno is like fire and fighting and rock all at the same time. He doesn't really have a type. Lance doesn't make sense either. Agatha, she just sounds really old. So like Gen 1's loosely just with the gym leaders. The Elite Four doesn't really follow a theme to my knowledge. And Gen 2, Faulkner is flying. Bugsy is bug type. Whitney. Whitney's a basic white chick name and she's normal, so like I think that kind of counts. Morty is Mort, death, you know. Jasmine kind of sounds like a Jewel. Steel type, I don't get the correlation there. Chuck, he's a fighting type. He chucks a rock when you first, you know, talk to him. Price has ice in his name. And Claire, I'm not sure how she corresponds to dragon type, but there might be something there. The games now, you can just pass through the story like nothing. That is extremely true. And yes, I am excited for Legends ZA, Legends AZ. I'm excited for AZ to be a innkeeper and see what that's all about. I'm excited that Eternal Floette is in the game. I think that's cool. Even Fire Red and Leaf Green had puzzles from Mewtwo. That they did. And I don't know the Gen 4 gym leaders well enough to do a type name comparison. I wonder. Maybe the internet knows, because I'm not the only one that's noticed this, surely. Like, I know I'm not. To be honest, you're disappointed in the Pokemon Legends AZ. You wish they had more environments than just a city, but you will buy the game. Honestly, I'm not too bothered by it, but like I am curious. I want to know how they're going to encapsulate an entire Pokedex in a city. That's more my concern. Do we get a name etymology of Erica? Okay. That would be a Japanese translation. Let's see this. Ah, haha, yes. I found it. I found it, chat. So, Erica's name is not an English name. Erica's name is also the same in Japanese. Erika. And it says it has several meanings depending on the kanji used, but the origin of the given name is... it's a genus of approximately 860 species of flowering plants. So that's why her name is what it is, which also means Koga is probably the same. Koga in Japanese means old river. Interesting. Or ancient river. You don't know how they're going to pull a city thing off from what you've seen. You honestly do not like. I'm going to reserve my hate for later. I don't think we've seen a lot of what's going to go on. How do they do it for Arceus? What were their legends? What do you mean? Like Legends Arceus? That was going with the creation trio. That was with Dialga and Palkia, and how Giratina's evil in trying to usurp the throne of Arceus. So that one was pretty masterfully done. The cool thing about Pokemon Legends Arceus is that it provides the backstory for Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum specifically, because Cyrus just has information that no mortal should know. At the time you're playing the game, Cyrus just happens to know that Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf can form a red chain to bring, Dialga, Palkia, Arceus, Giratina out of the ether or wherever they're at and summon them to the plane of existence you're in. But, it doesn't explain how he knows that, how he found that out, this, that, or the other. But there's also hints in the lore from the games of this happening once before, and Legends Arceus is the explanation. Legends Arceus is the story that explains the lore that you get in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. So I thought that was masterfully created. And it just happens to be Cyrus's ancestor, Silene, was on the research crew that was over you as the player that helped thwart this plan once before. So Cyrus had this information passed down through his family from her that we would come to find out. He also seems to have inherited the Galactic Company, the Survey Corps, and all of that. Or at least the remnants of what it became later. So that was really cool. Volo, which appears to be Cynthia's ancestor in some forms, or at least Volkner's ancestor, he kind of uses Giratina, or Giratina uses him, whichever you perceive that as, to summon Dialga or Palkia to aid in overthrowing Arceus, and we end up thwarting those plans. That's the gist of that game. Koga is a Japanese name that means poison or venom. Sabrina is the name of Latin origin and means from the land of Sabine, which is a region in Italy known for its magical and physical psychic history. Makes sense. Giovanni, subtle connection to nature dark type Pokemon, which I think Geo is better apt for Earth. Yeah, so Kanto gym leaders definitely all seem to have a connection to a type of some kind. Blaine isn't on this list, though. Interesting. Oh, yeah. Gen 3's name isn't... It's Watson. Electricity. Watts. That makes sense. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's asking if you can catch other legendary Pokemon besides the trio. Yeah, you can catch Mesprit, Azelf, Uxie, Manaphy, Phione, Heatran, Did I miss any? Regigigas. I feel like there's another stupid one I'm forgetting. Darkrai and Cresselia. You can catch all those in that game. I don't know how many of them were... I don't think any of them were mystery gift specific. But they are save file specific. So to get some of them, you have to have a save file for BDSP. Some of them you have to have Let's Go Pikachu Eevee. Some of them you have to have Sword Shield. Something to that effect. Yeah, it seems most of the gym leader names are derived from elements. Like Roark is kind of similar to rock. Gardenia comes from garden. Crasher Wake, water. Byron has iron in the name. Candice has ice in her name. Volkner is kind of derived from Volt. Unova, chili, hot food, fire, all that. Elisa, electricity, clay, earth material. Skyla, sky, wind, flying. Bryson also has ice in his name. Marlin, Marlon, derived from Marlin, which also has kind of water in its, you know, like a fish. So that's pretty cool. I am... The professors also had names. All of them do, Mauricio. All professors' names are still canonically hardwood trees. At least the main professor. We actually talked about that last time I streamed. So, oak, elm, birch, rowan, juniper, sycamore, kukui, I forget Gen 8s. Magnolia. Sonia. I'm not sure about Sonia. If her name has anything to do with the tree. But Professor Sonia, we are to understand that Sonia is her first name, and Magnolia would be her last name, I think. I think Professor Magnolia, we don't know her first name. Yeah, and that's what Reddit's saying. Magnolia is likely Sonia's surname, inherited from her grandmother, Professor Magnolia, which is also based off of the tree. However, she's still fairly new to the professor role, and most people would associate the surname of Magnolia to her grandmother. It's best to say she's dropping the said surname, so she would make a name for herself instead of being the shadow of her grandmother's fame. Kukui is a tree, and interestingly enough, Professor Sada and Professor Turo are not the Pokemon professors. They are professors of other stuff, like their area of study. The professor for the region is Jacques, your homeroom teacher, and he's the one that gives you the Pokedex. And he's the one that gives you your Pokemon, in a sense. He gives you a Pokemon. he gives you a starter Pokemon from another region once you get to the DLC. And I believe all of the side professors are various forms of fauna, such as Ivy, like Professor Ivy from the Orange Island. You stopped playing after Gen 3 only because your parents couldn't afford consoles, and you just try to keep up your most recent games since Gen 3 was Sword and Shield. You missed some bangers in between there, but Gen 5 is the one of main concern. Gen 5 is like my second favorite generation. Gen 3 being my first. Oh, that's why it's not spinning the bag. My bag is full. You missed so much, Law. You heard so much about Black and White. Oh my gosh, phenomenal games, by the way. Yeah, we got 14 more levels to go on Mankey Boy. I do collect cards, Mauricio. In fact, I have a whole card binder version of the Pokedex that I'm trying to complete on a video series that I'm doing on my channel, where I open a pack of Pokemon cards every single day for an entire year to see if I can fill up the Pokedex. Granted, the series probably isn't going to stop until I fill in said Pokedex, but I am trying to do it for at least a year, or as long as finances are going to allow for. So we're hoping that the YouTube ad revenue eventually will start paying for said packs of cards. But right now, I think in the 17 videos that I've done for said series, I think we're looking at a total of like $5. Which I've spent well over like $85 to fund said video. 17 videos. Being generous. Oh. What is the recent card collection right now? That is going to be... Did I just go and heal for no reason? That was that was silly. Prismatic Evolutions, but Journey Together is going to come out in 12 days. Prismatic Evolution has a Umbreon card in it that is worth $1,600 raw. So like without being graded. It's crazy. Espeon card worth 400, Sylveon card worth 600. It's a pretty good set. I got some good Prismatic Evolution cards that I've been able to find. But yeah, I definitely open up Pokemon card packs. I've been trying to get more into that on the channel. Is there an Arceus Awakening pack? That I'm not sure of. I personally don't have one if it exists, or if there is one. You wish your stores would stock the cards again. Ever since surging, everything's been sold out. Um, like, out of curiosity, Starkiller, have you been able to find any online at all? Like, are you into that? Like, would you buy them online if you could find them online at a reasonable price? Or, like, where are you at with that? Are you looking for a specific set or just any kind of Pokemon cards? Your gas station is selling legit packs, but you forgot the pack's name. You told you better put them behind the counter, or else people will definitely steal them. That they will. I'm still trying to become a Pokemon card retailer, but I haven't had the best luck with that. My wife is summoning me to come get the kiddo, so let's. I will be back momentarily. We're gonna go on dark mode here for a little bit. Sorry, is running things in Elden Ring, but yeah, you would order online, but the prices are way more than they were. There's just no reason to pay someone's bills for a box of cards. Yeah. The reason why I was asking is, like, if you're looking for some Surging Sparks, I think I could get you 5 packs of Surging Sparks and mail them out to you. The issue there is I think they're going for like $6 a pop at GameStop, so I think you're looking at like what is it? Were they 6 or 7? You're looking at like $32 plus shipping to get them there. But I could get you five packs of cards. Shoot, I guess I could get you more if you wanted them, but I can only do $5 or five packs a day, buying them from GameStop. For some reason, my local GameStop seems to have the singles, like they come in those blister sleeves. So like my GameStop was selling these, and they still have some. And I like to go down there whenever I can and get some. And then my local Barnes & Noble, which is in the same mall, was selling the Stellar Crown ones as well. So, are you going to live stream tomorrow? You want to find out what cards you have from those specific packs. It is my intention to live stream tomorrow. When I live stream on Sunday, it's generally earlier in the afternoon. Yeah, Starkiller, my GameStop, local GameStop has cards. And I want to say they were selling those Surging Sparks for these for about $5.99. Actually, let me check. I think the receipt's still here on my desk. Yeah, I got 5 packs of cards from GameStop for like $13 or $30.16. But I'm not sure. I think that one might have utilized my 5% off or my $5 off coupon thing. There's a GameStop coupon thing. Yeah, $5.69 is what they were selling them for. You went out again yesterday, and GameStop, Walmart, Target, Dollar Store, Walgreens, and CVS all out of cards. You know the scalpers in your area are having a hard time selling them because they have dropped. Oh yeah, Pokemon card prices are starting to drop. People stop being willing to pay the prices for them, which is awesome. I found a good card shop that I can pre-order stuff from, and I actually got Journey Together pre-ordered. A box of everything. I'm only an hour ahead of you, Mauricio. So, like, typically, I would do, like, 1 p.m. my time, so noon your time. Your GameStop might offload to the employees. Yeah, that's a bummer. How much was a booster box of Journey Together? I think it was... I'm buying it for MSRP. And I think, yeah, the 36-pack box I did, the display box, I ordered one of those. And I didn't check prices. They just put me down for one, and I'm going to pay them whatever it costs, I guess. But, they are selling them at MSRP, so I'm not having to worry about them be like, oh, you know, this is going to be $120 for an ETB. I think Journey Together is typically going to be $49.99 or $59.99. I might see if I can get another Starkiller. I don't know if they're still taking pre-orders, but I'll definitely see. The packs they sell for $12 at least. Your gas station, and you're talking about booster card packs. That makes sense. That's especially if it's like 151 or Scarlet, or not Scarlet, Prismatic Evolutions. That's what those are going for these days. Like $12 a pack. At least from a scalper perspective. From an MSRP perspective, they still should be $5. Give or take. Yeah, I just can't find anybody that's willing to work with me from a vendor because I don't have a physical location as a storefront. The booster box has a promo in it. You mean the ETB or what booster box, Starkiller? You might think MSRP is $140, somewhere around there, unless they have raised the price. Oh, I have a rare candy? Oh yeah, did you know, guys? I have baby coins here. I didn't even mention that. We have baby coin here. No, the actual Journey Together booster box has a promo in it this time. Okay. So I have 3 things pre-ordered. I feel like one is the ETB, one's the booster box, and one is the display box. They put me down for one of everything. So if they do a booster or a blister pack as well, I'll have that. If I can real quick, look it up. Yeah, I got a display box ordered. Oh, that Reshiram card? Ooh, that's sick. And there's the booster bundle. What is the difference? Oh, there's a build-in battle box. So if they come out with all this stuff at the same time, then that means I should get one of each of these. That's going to be so expensive. Enhanced booster display box. Like standard booster display boxes, their new enhanced booster display boxes contain 36 Pokemon TGs pack, but they come with an extra surprise. There's a bonus promo card included in the box. Ooh, I wonder which I'll get. Interesting. I think they used to do the promos in the booster boxes a long time ago, and they brought it back for this set. Nice. Yeah, if I end up getting that, we'll see. But yeah, it's the enhanced booster display box only. Which is cool. The most prize collect from those packs recently was a Hollow Dragonite, Koraidon, and Miraidon. Okay. Is that the Koraidon and Miraidon that came from the ETBs? Or was this a different card? The only cards you've collected is the McDonald's packs. I got you. I actually was able to get all of the McDonald's cards. I got the whole collection, all 15 of them. Really cool. You have a feeling you're not going to be able to get Prismatic Evolutions. Definitely not the ETB. You know they say there'll be reprint, but you don't think scalpers will let us get them. I think scalpers are going to let up on that one with the reprints. Just because reprints don't have as high of a resale value. With reprints happening, that means there's more circulation. Because Surging Sparks is starting to become available, and people didn't think Surging Sparks was going to be readily available. We'll hoard that set for years, and if you can't get that ETB, you want the booster box with the promo in it. Just because the value would be in the future? Maybe. Haunter fan, welcome Jay Reynolds. I want to see if I can get, what is it called? I want the 151 booster box so bad. I really want that one. Are you ready for your dinner so you can go back to sleep? So talkative. Surging you knew was going to be available, but anything with Eevee does this kind of like the Evolving Skies. Yeah. Isn't Evolving Skies simply because of that Umbreon? Baby is 9 months old. in trying to stand up on things and pull himself up and see if he can learn to walk. Huh? You learning to walk? You see that red flashing light on my desk and you want it so bad. Thanks. I have another kid that's actually asleep right now, and he is 2.5. What's crazy is the other Umbreon in that set looks so much better. You're out of your league. You haven't opened a card since 1998. Ah, yes, this is the cable management expert, baby. Huh. You ready for your bottle? Do you want a bottle in a bed? Does that sound like a plan? Oh, I'm just sitting here pressing A and not doing anything. That's dumb. You remember when your baby was that young? It's a beautiful father journey. It is. Sometimes they're a pain, but they're worth it. Yeah. When you're like waking up at 6 in the morning. Or 3. You gonna wake up at 3 again? Or did we get that covered waking up at 1? I am the forest exterminator. I need to get t-shirts. But Starkiller, you were specifically interested in the enhanced booster display box with that Reshiram card in it. Okay, I'll see what I can do. If they're still allowing pre-orders, I'll call tomorrow and ask to see if I can up it or do it under my nephew's name and make him go with me and sign up for one of everything again. And maybe I'll see if I can get them to let me know who their distributor is. You worked graveyard shifts, you saw your baby wake up for you and laugh and giggle to you waking up. It was so hurtful, but man, it hurt. That's funny. This little baby, he and I are good pals. He, like, when he gets dropped off to get babysat while I go to work, when I pick him up, he always just, like, sees me and just, like, makes a beeline for me as fast as he can scoot or crawl or whatever he's doing. He goes straight for me, and he follows me around the house if I'm not holding him or picking him up, and it's just so funny. He reacts kind of the same with my wife, but with me, it's a lot more prominent. It's super funny. Oh, thank you, Mauricio. Okay, bud. We are gonna wrap you up all nice and tight as a burrito. Get your bottle and put you back in bed. One day, Baby Coin will be your editor and channel engineer. I hope so. I hope so. Somebody's got to figure out how to make this better. Okay, let's swallow you. Your baby does the same thing as she's 8, still wants me to tuck her in and give her a bedtime story. That's awesome. My kids haven't really cared much for a bedtime story yet, but I don't think they have the attention span for it quite yet either. Ah, gotcha. Well, Star Killer, I will try my best to see if I can get a box for you. Oh, we're gonna plug this headset in because I'm gonna need it later. A coin roll? A roll of coins? Yes, it is a roll of coin. A baby burrito. I don't know, he's 9 months old and he still insists on being swaddled if you want him to go to sleep. He likes having his limbs stuck together. Your daughter just moved in with you and she's 5, still getting used to all that? Yeah, it's an adjustment for sure. Gotta love paying child support for the kid that lives with you. Oh man. So do you have to like go to get that rectified, or Like, how does that whole thing work? She'll be served with papers for the third time when she gets out of rehab, and hopefully this time the court sees what she's doing. But in MO, they will act like she's been in rehab and she's fine. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, that's a whole interesting case. It's interesting because they claim to, you know, try to do what's in the child's best interest, but is it really in best interest to uproot them again? You know, like, if they're already having a stable living environment, usually it's in the best interest to not uproot, you know? Yeah, that is really sad, Starkiller. That's the worst. I am familiar with it's not the same situation. It's kind of loosely similar, but I definitely understand the struggle. Luckily, the situation that hits close to home for me is more resolved and less substance involved, but still had a better outcome for the kids to be in the environment that they're in. For sure, Starkiller. June 28th, UFC 317, Las Vegas. Let's make it happen. I mean, it could. It's far enough out there. Maybe. Just maybe. Who's supposed to be fighting? So the thing with that is, my kid should be weaned from constant milk need by that because he'll be 1 year old, and grandma will be off work for the summer. So it's possible that both my wife and I could slip away. 3 months out. What is June 28th? June 28th is a Saturday, so my wife would have Friday off. Should have to take Saturday off and Sunday off. It's possible. It's possible. Not announced yet. Reddit says might be John Jones. I love how I asked who's fighting, like I would have any idea of any of the names that you said. I think that's hilarious. I just realized that. I'm like, even if I did get given names, I wouldn't know who they are. Sometimes I'm silly, I guess. Oh, Mankey instead used Lear. Way to go, Mankey. If it's John Jones, then the nosebleeds will be 1K, so probably out of your budget. Oh yeah, that would be drastically out of my budget. Like, we're talking $300 is probably going to be a hard sell. John Jones is the secret identity of Martian Manhunter. I could neither confirm nor deny this. I have no idea. Oh, I didn't want to fight with Pidgeot. I do think that I need to end the stream in about 5 minutes and switch over to my other 2 tasks that I have to get done tonight, one of which is the video for tomorrow for the card opening. I need to get that compiled. And the other one is I need to do my Pokemon Go spoofing video and see if I can get that to work. Hopefully I can. Things generally do tend to get better with enough diligence and perseverance. It's good outlook to have. Oh, anymore. The only thing I think that is impossible is getting 2 kids to fall asleep at the same time. Life is better with Pokemon. Yeah, I could imagine my life, like, if Pokemon didn't exist. Like, what would I have spent so much of my time on? Like it's been a huge amount of my life that I've spent time funneling into it. Let's see more. Ooh, can I do it by video? Rooting for you, Brass. You got this. Thanks. We try. The bug of Kantor not subscribed to Brass Coin Plays. That's why we're eliminating them. I'm doing this just because I'm curious. All right, 0.14 plus 0.39 equals plus 0.31 equals plus 0.13 equals plus 0.15 equals plus 0.08 equals plus 0.10 equals plus 0.13 equals plus 0.18 equals plus 0.11 equals plus All right. I have done officially 16 videos. And that ad revenue is totaling $4. 16 of the card pack videos. Hey, Mauricio, you have a fantastic night. And I think we're also about to end here as well. Here at 1:30, 2 more minutes. Even though I was supposed to end like 3 minutes ago, but we'll just end right at 1:30. 1:30 for me, anyways. At $4 is $4. It is. You don't even stream and you almost tied you. That's funny. Twitch paid out $50 finally, so got a Twitch payout recently. That's been nice. I found a 151 ETB on Facebook Marketplace for like $200. Not sure if I want to snipe it yet, but we'll see. I don't know why I ran from that. That was dumb. Oh, probably because I had 0 PowerPoints in Vine Whip. Oh, I think I got a level today, maybe. That's nice. Ivysaur stats. Oh yeah, we're almost level 26. Sweet. Well, we'll go ahead and save for now, and we will catch you all in the next stream. I'm hoping to be able to stream tomorrow for a little bit while the kids nap, but again, that depends on if they both decide to nap at the same time and be nice to me. But we'll see. We'll catch you guys in the next video or stream.